Thought I would get up this morning and get some planting done and check on the gardens before we have to go into town. Found someone that was giving away a free fence, and we have like 200 meters of unfenced property at the front. The rest is fenced, just not the front. So jumped on that, but it means it's going to be a busy day, busy couple of days, really. So I thought while I have the time, I will get in and get some stuff done in the garden because I've neglected it over the last week while I've been busy. See if I can turn the camera. So Mum gave me a few plants. So I've got a perennial basil, which I'm very excited about because I'm not having the best luck with basil at the moment. I've got some thyme, I've got some sage, I've got some flowers I need to plant out. I believe these are foxglove, and then delphiniums. The goal would be eventually this little bed here will have flowers and be more of a cottage style garden with the palms above it. But at the moment the soil is so compacted and just has so many old roots and rocks and things in it that I actually can't even dig a little tiny hole. So the best I've managed is I have my nasturtiums in a pot over there popping through. So I'll get in there at some point and build up the sides and put more soil in. Now seedling wise, I actually have been having some luck. So I've got some rosellas, I've got cucumbers and zucchinis coming up. Now I'm thinking that's just another tomato because that doesn't look very chivy, given that right next to it is tomatoes. I've got some eggplants. The basil here are coming up. It was a mixed basil, and I'm very excited to see some little purple ones popping through. We've got some things in there, but I can't tell you what that is from my writing. Oh, it's okra burgundy, but I don't know how, but all the seeds have pushed to the top, so I'll have to cover them. Got some chilies in here. Oh, and I've got lemon verbena there. So there's a few things I need to plant out. There was flowers here. Now I can't tell you for the life of me what these were, I can't remember. I tried to bring them from my other garden, but they were kind of reaching the end of their life anyway. But look at the amount of seed pods they've given me from all of the beautiful flowers they had. So I should be able to plant some more when I figure out what they are and if I can plant them now. Oh, I don't know if you can see the spider. There's all these little spiders everywhere. I've been just trying to leave them be. Some of them have had to be moved because they keep attaching themselves to my car. There's another one here, but the camera doesn't really pick it up too well. I don't think I've even done any sort of videos of this sort of area. So I've added my nasturtiums and my marigolds in. Nasturtiums are my favourite, especially the variegated kind. I just think they're so pretty. I've got the marigolds. I've got lemon balm, which I did from a cutting and it grew fantastically. More nasturtiums. Now this rosemary bush is massive. I've made rosemary honey. I've made dried rosemary. I've been giving people cuttings. There's just so much of it, but I don't want to just trim it all back and it go to waste, so I'm going to make some things for Christmas with that. More nasturtiums, marigold, and this is exciting. I haven't been down here in a couple of days, but this is pineapple sage, and it was only about this big, so it's grown a lot, which is awesome because I will eventually move this plant, and this is just going to be like my little herb garden for plants that can take full sun, part shade over in that spot. Got geraniums. I'll probably leave this hibiscus just because it's so pretty. And there is actually the prettiest flowers in here. So these ones haven't sprouted yet. The previous owner, I think she loved bulbs sort of flowers. I cannot say the name of them. But back when I lived in Brisbane, these sort of flowers would all pop up around my birthday. So we always called them my birthday flower. But here, because it's a bit warmer, I guess, they pop up a bit earlier. But they're just so pretty. They don't last that long, which is a shame. But they are gorgeous. I do like that they're popping up a little bit later than each other. I have a bit longer with them. It's been nice moving in at this time of year because I've seen everything flower. Mango tree did flower. Hoping I'll get some mangoes from it. Got one little veggie patch down here. Which I've planted. I've got to come do some thinning. So these are basil that I've done from seed. Got some thyme. I can't remember what these are. I did remember planting things. I think maybe they're spinach. But I thought I planted the spinach out a little bit more than that. But you know what? Maybe I didn't. And I believe those are Cosmo or zinnias, one of the two. And then over there is the fruit orchard, which will hopefully eventually be a food forest sort of style. And I did plant capsicum, and you can see there's still some capsicum there. I think they're grass maybe? I don't really know what these things are, but they've popped up in this tray everywhere, when it's definitely not something that I think I planted, but maybe I'm wrong. But no, it looks like grass. It's definitely not what the capsicums look like, and they've kind of been out-competed even in the seed tray by these. They've all kind of died off and this has come through instead, so I'm thinking it's some sort of grass or weed or something. Now, I don't really have a lot of time this morning, which is a shame, but I want to get a few things planted, and I'll do a quick run through of my little veggie garden. It is actually quite a cool morning for how warm it's been lately. Now, I call myself easily distracted for a reason. I can't find my little $6 Kmart camera that I use to hold my phone to make this easier. I forget what I'm doing all the time. It's fine. I'll get there eventually. Alright. I'll plant out some sage in that garden. And I've got the basil. Oh. This is my morning friend. Usually he comes with, I think he's called a red-breasted parrot, something like that. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see if I can get a close up. Good morning. Hello. Hello. He's been popping in every morning lately. He usually has a friend, but the friend hasn't been here the last couple of days, so I hope he's alright. But he pops in and sees me most mornings, and yesterday he was super chatty, which was nice. He sits on the windowsill, and then when I come outside he gets scared and runs away, but he likes to think he'll be brave. I'll walk back to the garden and I'll restart the video. Right, so I'm over in the garden. Got a few things to plant out. So I've got habaneros and cosmos, got a mushroom plant, some sage and the perennial basil. I think these are just more cosmos. I just brought the tomatoes over from the other property. just to snack on really, but they're just kind of there. Got some plants here. There's some quail eggs in there that I brought from the other property too. Honestly, Loki just kind of finds them and eats them, but they've only been here a couple of days, so that's okay for the minute. These I am so excited about. These are passion fruit. I planted a bunch of them and I just thought they weren't germinating, and I went back to the other property and found it. I'd pretty much neglected them and they'd all popped up, so I need to transplant them probably today because it's starting to get a bit wild, but it was so exciting that they actually popped up, that they look so healthy. This is a little bathtub that was on the property when I moved here, so I plan on painting the parts that are rusted, and as much as I like the little regal thing, I think it'd be really cute if I made a little cricket cutout and spray painted it to say Emily's Garden. I thought that would be really nice to look at, because it's kind of the centre point of what I look at when I'm in the garden. But these are marigolds from the other property. They've grown so big. I planted them with heaps of poultry bedding underneath all the soil. I put it on the bottom layer, and everything in that garden grew so quickly and so well. It was just really unexpected. Here's the garden. There's still mulching to do, but everything's doing okay. It's bouncing back now. This is all the flowers. Actually, I lie. These are not doing too well at all. Those, I believe, are all cucumbers, but they just look like they're dying. So, I don't know if they're going to make it, but we can hope. The zucchini seem to be doing somewhat better, but they're really puny and they're throwing flowers, so I don't really know. The ones at our other property are big and beautiful and look a lot nicer. This bed is the eggplant. Some of the eggplant's lower leaves need to be trimmed. Now I used guinea pig bedding, so we do get some odd shoots popping up throughout the garden bed, but I don't really mind that, and usually I just trim them down and leave the roots in. This is a cinnamon geranium. It is also a bit shocked, but otherwise it's doing okay. I'll just trim off all the leaves that are looking a bit dead. Now this eggplant's doing really well compared to the others. That one is, I got it on clearance. It's a Gretel, it's a white one. This is the capsicum bed, really. There's just one chili. So I've got a Mad Hatter there. I believe that's some sort of cayenne chili. Oh, there's two chilies. There's a jalapeno as well. And then these are all capsicum I grew from seed. Now, gardening doesn't actually have to be that expensive. All of these I've grown from seed that I got from inside a capsicum that I bought. I just saved the seed and planted it in the garden, and you know what? Heaps of them grew, and the ones I transplanted into a pot have done so well. They're really strong. I haven't had as much luck with seeds I've actually bought. I've still got more of these capsicum back at the other property, and a lot of the seedlings ended up not making it past the seedling tray because I just didn't get them into pots quick enough. They actually grow really, really well. I've got a bunch of tomatoes here. It's getting a bit hot for tomatoes now, I think. But I've got some planted out. I don't have high hopes for them, which is why they're planted so close together. But in saying that, they are looking better than they did the other day, so maybe they'll come around. This one is the one I'm most excited for. Adelaide Festival. It's just so pretty. I just think the colour's gorgeous, so I'm hoping if any of them were to survive and even give me just one, even a tiny fruit, I would love it to be that one, just so I can keep the seeds. More of the marigold. Now all these have just been transplanted from the last property, but I can't believe how quick they grew. Like, I planted that garden bed like maybe a month and a half ago, and the marigolds are just huge, bigger than I've ever gotten out of my other garden beds. Got some beans. I think these are bloody beans. The purple bean, only one has made it. They were all on sale at Bunnings, so I just bought a tray of each of them and they had about 8 in them. Cost me $2, so if any of them survive, it's still pretty cool, but the bloody ones seem to be doing okay. Nasturtium brought from the other property. I was hoping it would bounce back, but I'm thinking not. But look at all the pods on it. And they're a really pretty colour. My other pods have just been green, but these ones are lovely. And then along this side I've just planted some other things like cucumbers, I think is all they are. But I really do think they're getting powdery mildew. I have to look it up. I've not dealt with powdery mildew before. But yeah, they just haven't really coped well with transplanting, which now that I've read a bit further, they don't normally anyway. And I probably wasn't as gentle as they would have liked. My other nasturtium, again, it's got heaps and heaps of pods. I'd really like to try the pickled nasturtium pods. I think that'd be lovely. And the little strawberry patch. The main reason we did a weed mat here was purely because we had a bit too much room to do another bed. A bit too much room to leave it blank, but enough room to do another small bed, but it was very close to where the weeds were and where all the grass were. So we just burnt holes in and put the strawberries in, which they're already fruiting, which is cool. This one's throwing off some flowers. Some of them look a little worse for wear. There was lots of birds at my last property, but not the same type, and they weren't as loud. They just kind of existed there. Some of the nasturtiums are doing okay. Just not the big ones, but I think they were quite old anyway. I got them before the winter. Now, I was really hoping to plant everything, but I'm walking around. I cannot for the life of me find my shovel, and we need to be going soon. So I guess I'm not going to get them planted at the moment, but I'll get them planted later today. I'll probably thin out some of the passion fruit as well. But I thought it'd be cool if I just started recording in the mornings when I get up and do this little walk around, because I'm too busy otherwise, which is a shame. This is my holidays, but I haven't really had a holiday other than maybe with Hannah coming up here. Garden beds are looking lovely. And I changed over the trellis. I found this big bit of mesh here, and I think that'll go better for things like beans. Oh, that's the only other thing I didn't mention. I planted lots and lots of beans. So I think I've got one called rattlesnake beans. I've got a few of them in there. I had some heirloom bean mixes that I've planted in there as well, so we'll see if they pop up. I think I've planted them all through here. That's the only reason why I've left this bed. I've planted quite a few flower seeds through here as well, so I won't mulch it really heavily until some of those pop up. But these beds are pretty much done. This will be an eggplant, this will be capsicum. If I can get it to grow, this will be this will be the cucumber and zucchini bed. And I will end up putting an arch over here for some of those things to grow over, and I would just plant something in this front little section to grow up over the trellis. If I had a bit more forward planning, I would have put anything that needed trellising in these two beds, and I probably would have moved the eggplants over to this side. but it was getting late and Hannah was leaving and I wanted to get some things in the ground while she was still here so that we could feel like we'd accomplished a garden. But I'll plant these later.